All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and thank you for checking out the Pastrami Nation podcast today, the meat of pop culture. Today, we have a really cool show. But before we get into it, do some introductions are in order. I'm Kevin, entertainment editor of Pastrami Nation. With me today, of course, I got Jason Smith, the co-founder of Pastrami Nation.
Hi,
How you
everybody.
doing? Good. And we also have Noble with us today. How you doing, man?
What's going on, everybody?
Good. And Christian, how are you?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here. Excited.
Good.
Glad to have
Yeah,
you.
man, it's going to be a fun show. Before we get started, we do have a giveaway towards the end of the show. It's a Chickenator combo from Apollo Burger down in the high desert. So if you guys are down there, please, all you have to do is put a comment and like the, post, and you'll be eligible to win it at the end of the show. So let's just get right into it. Of course, I don't know if you guys are aware, there was a pretty big comic book movie that came out this past weekend. The Batman, Robert Pattinson takes on the role this time. So yeah, let's talk about it. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to get into. Let's just dive right into it. First, let's start by just kind of talking about just kind of our basic thoughts. Like, what did you guys think of the Batman?
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, anyone.
I will.
Yeah, go for it, Noble.
Cool.
Honestly, it was not what I expected, and it definitely exceeded the expectations that I had. And I think that anyone who's looking for a different type of Batman, especially one that's a major departure from the Nolan Batmans, the Bat Nipples, or even the '89 Batman, you want something that's a little darker. You want something that's a little more grounded, even more so grounded than even I'll even say the Dark Knight series. This movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say absolutely. Yeah, I'd say just as grounded, if not more so than the Nolan trilogy. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it feels like this Batman is not. He's not the perfect Batman just yet, but you know what? You see how he's going to get there.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's one thing I loved about it too. Hold up, we also have Daniel joining us right now. Let me go ahead and add him to the stream. He's back.
Hey, I know that guy.
Hey, there he is.
How you doing, Daniel?
Much better. Technical difficulties solved.
Without vengeance got you.
I have been ending emails in PS. I am vengeance.
Gotcha. Yeah, so let's who wants to go next? Christian, what did you think about
I loved it. I did go in with high expectations. I am like a big Batman fan, so I was excited to be excited after a long time of not being excited about Batman on film. I know a lot of I think Noble, you just mentioned how this is like a nice departure from what you might expect from Batman. And yeah, like if you're basing that on like the Batman movies, absolutely, you know what I mean. But then also at the same time, I'm like, I feel like we're finally seeing like the world's greatest detective on film.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At least like you were saying, the beginnings of that. You know what I mean. I think there were parts of that were like really really cool to see. Like you said, not what I expected. But it's hard for me to say anything without spoiling anything. So
I'm
trying to dance around it. So
yeah, no, actually, let's actually talk about spoilers. Let's warn everyone who's watching. There will be spoiler talk in this one, so let's just go for it, man. I want to talk about what's that.
Cover your ears.
Yeah, cover your ears, everyone. It's going to be spoiler-filled conversation about the movie. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, go watch it. Come back.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check out the podcast. But go for it, Christian. Let's just let it loose. All of us.
I have there was so many different things that I really absolutely love about it. I guess if I had to like pick like one of my favorite things about it, it's Gordon and Batman's relationship. Like I just loved it. And like I think that's where like if there was any humor in this movie, that's where it came from. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was the relationship between the two of them. Jeffrey Wright is Gordon. Like fantastic.
That was
like
perfect. Perfect Commissioner Gordon.
I would say like casting all around. I was excited to see this, but like every scene he was in, Colin Farrell, just like absolutely stole the show.
Wasn't that just like the transformation of a lifetime though? Like I'm still like I watch trailers and breakdowns and everything, and I'm trying to find Colin Farrell in the character.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. Like he totally disappeared into it.
I was off social media for like the week or like half of a week last week.
Same.
And then now after they finally watched the movie, I'm like, oh, like I could watch like all the interviews, I could watch like all the reviews, and like, but like I loved watching all like the interviews with Colin Farrell because he just seemed like so like thankful to be there, and like he's like, yeah, I don't have any problem sitting in the chair for 2 to 4 hours getting the makeup done because he's like, I know what this is, it's all worth it, you know, in the end.
Right.
And he talked about how like freeing that was for him as an actor, you know, like it wasn't a hindrance. If anything, it freed him to like just really let loose. Beautiful stuff all around. I mean, I could keep going, but maybe we can like bounce back.
Yeah.
With everything. Yeah.
So Jason, what were your thoughts about it?
Oh, I loved it. Like I went in with low expectations, thinking, okay, you know, like after a couple of past Batman movies let me down, I was like, oh, you know. And I wasn't 100% like sold on because I was happy when they announced Pattinson going to be the Batman, because I was like, I liked him in Twilight. I liked the Twilight movies.
Right.
It was decent, and he pulled it off. But I was more concerned about the Riddler, seeing the design and everything. I'm like, and then once you see that character and like once you feel him in that movie, he is just creepy. Like to me, he was on a creepy level, like Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Right.
You know, and even more so
100% agree with that.
Like when he starts humming that little hymn for Batman when he's behind. And by the way, Batman never laid a hand on him, you know? Like, remember they had his head pushed down and he's smiling through when they got him at the coffee shop? I'm like, wow. And then just that whole jail scene was just, that's what creepified him and solidified the whole, because I like his different, what is it, what's the word for that? Different ways of killing people, you know. His creative that thing with the rat cage was just brutal.
Oh yeah.
I just wish I hope there's a director's cut where you see more of that, you know, like they weren't going to give us that in a PG-13. But to me, the Riddler, like, I loved the Penguin in there, loved the Catwoman, loved Batman. I like all the characters. It's just you know, that Riddler did it for me. I'm a fan, like, of villains, you know, and especially like revenge kill villains in movies, and it did it for me, you know, especially with the Riddler. I rank this Batman up there with the Dark Knight, the Heath Ledger Joker movie, you know, like this was on that level where it kept you on the edge of your seat, just what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
no, I came out of the theater like, wow, you know.
Can I add something to that?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So what I had seen was that Paul Dano, the guy who plays the Riddler, he based a lot of his inspiration, I want to say, on the Zodiac Killer.
Oh yeah,
I think with that inspiration, this totally feels not even just like the Zodiac Killer, but I got some serious like Seven vibes.
And that's what this movie is, right? This movie's like Seven, but with Batman.
Yeah,
exactly how I felt about it.
We talked about this on the last podcast. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean, about it being like a Fincher movie,
vibe,
like a '90s Fincher movie, but with Batman, it's super awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Daniel, what did you think about it?
Yeah, no, I just like you guys. I kind of had low expectations going in, just hoping big.
You sound like the Riddler.
Oh, dude, you're on.
I think your mic is a little bit off right now. We can't hear you. It sounds a little bit robotic.
Yeah, you do sound like the Riddler.
Big Mother.
If you are justice, please do not lie.
No, it's still sounding a little like staticky, unfortunately.
My phone's terrible.
Oh no.
All right, he's the real Riddler.
Yeah, if you want to try to come back or see what's going on, because we can't hear what you're saying, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, you're good. But yeah, no, so I personally I really liked it as well. It's just crazy that like after eight movies featuring Batman since 1989, like that they can still manage to give us something completely different, completely unique, and a totally different take on the character than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Which I thought
Absolutely.
was really, really cool. And it didn't feel like, didn't feel like baby Batman. Well, it did kind of feel like baby Batman, but it didn't feel like Batman Begins, obviously. But it took kind of I compare it to like the No Way Home route, or not No Way Home, sorry, excuse me. The Homecoming, where it was a origin story, but not, because we saw Uncle Ben already. We saw all that. In this, there was no pearl necklaces. There was no nothing, so they just kind of went into the story. And I love how the mayor's son at the beginning of the movie, you kind of don't know, like, you kind of get that weird thing. It's like, wait, is this Bruce like when he was a kid? You know what I mean? Like you kind of get that weird juxtaposition, but then it kind of shifts your expectations and it shows you who it is, and his story parallels Bruce Wayne's, which I thought was really cool. So let's get Daniel back in here. Daniel.
Can you hear me now?
Hey.
Yes, we can hear you so much better now. Yeah. So tell us your thoughts on the Batman.
All right. Well, like I was saying, I went in with kind of low expectations, but hoping for a watchable movie. And I was really hoping it kind of be like a standalone almost, and it blew me away. Yeah. I was from the first scene where his inner dialogue, where he's talking like he's in the comic book, like you can see the wording above in the top left corner. I wish they would have kind of carried that further into the movie, but like that kind of just gave you the vibe of where we're going and how he picks his targets and everything. So yeah, I was really enjoying the beginning part where you're just kind of getting the feel for everything. It's like the setting him up as basically this, he's terror. Other than vengeance, he's terror and fear. And you get to see the other side where it's, Riddler's starting to go after his victims, and it kind of gave me that Seven vibe where he's just like hiding in the shadow. He's just gonna take you out, and he's not someone who's like physically imposing or anything. He's just really smart. He's gonna just hide and then like hit you with a carpet tool.
That was brilliant with that carpet tool. Like at the end.
I thought that was the closest we're gonna get to a Riddler trophy.
Oh yeah,
awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's good.
No, it was start to finish. I was really it's kind of funky because you know what you're talking about where Paul Dano gets arrested. Look at my watch. I'm like, there's still an hour left. There's more. This isn't the end, so there's more happening. It was just wild, and I was really impressed. It's right up there with Dark Knight for me.
Yeah, it's hard for me to like. I mean, immediately after watching the movie, like the comparisons have to be drawn, but then I'm like hesitant to like speak in hyperbole or even compare it to the Dark Knight. Yeah, I feel like I have to live with it for like a year first, and then I can like because I adore the Dark Knight. Like I adore the Dark Knight. You know what I mean? So for me, like I adore this movie too, and like I want to say it's I'm like I will say that it's right there with the Dark Knight, but for me to go the step further and say like I like this better than the Dark Knight, it might be too soon for me to say. But man, like the writing in this also, like they're just fighting on all levels, like the writing, cinematography, the acting, like everything. Like I just, it was gorgeous. Like the writing was like so symmetrical, and like how they bookend like the narration at the beginning and at the end of the movie. All of that stuff with like how he saves that guy, and the guy he saves at the beginning is like, "Don't hurt me," and you're like, "Oh damn!" Like he's that terror, like that much. And then at the end, like how like he learns how he has to be like hope. You know what I mean? A symbol of hope for people. And like I don't know, even like with the way that the Riddler and Batman like completely mirror each other, right? Like the only thing that separates them is his vow to like not kill. Aside from that, it's like they're both trying to like expose corruption. They're both spying on people through windows. They both, even their masks, like the nose piece for their mask looks the same. You know what I mean? Like there's so much similarity between the two of them.
Well, it's interesting because there's always that dynamic they talk about where Batman creates his villains. The point of like the fact that he's there creates it, and then he actually tells him, "You are vengeance and violence, and I'm just following suit." and that harkens back to a lot of comic stories, and a lot of the themes and you see wove throughout was throughout all the comics is like, yeah, if Batman wasn't here, you don't have Two-Face, you don't have Riddler, you don't have Joker, you don't have all these other people. So it's kind of an interesting take. Is the only reason it looks like Riddler rose up and did what he did is because Batman did the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think you brought up when you were talking about the look of the film, Christian. I thought this movie had a really, really cool look to it. It had a really unique vibe. And Greg Fraser, who did the cinematography for it, he was a cinematographer for Mandalorian and Dune, and so he's kind of coming off a bunch of this big stuff. But he captured so Gotham City in this feels like Gotham City. You know what I mean? Like. I always felt like the Nolan. So within the first 5 minutes, you're introduced to Gotham City. You brought into Gotham City, and you're looking around like this place is Nolan's trilogy. It was there was at least some kind of good. There was good parts and bad parts, right? It was a regular city. This just feels all around just horrible place. You're just this place is not going to get cleaned up. Batman cannot do anything for the city. The city is done for, right? And I got that feeling within the first 10 minutes of the movie that this place was this just really disgusting, just gross place and criminal underworlds, and it was kind of this lived in world right away, which I thought was really cool.
Scum and villainy.
Yeah, and it felt like a good mix between Nolan's trilogy and Tim Burton's Gotham, right? It kind of had this really, it wasn't as over the top sometimes as Tim Burton's Gotham. It was a little bit more modern, but it also had that completely Chicago of Nolan's trilogy. But it was if you blended the two,
right?
And it was this rundown, horrible place. And that's one thing I loved about it too, was it was very, it felt very hopeless.
Yeah,
you see the city, you see this. You see the city, and you're like, okay, so that's a city where bad guys come from.
Exactly. That's what it felt like. And it also felt a lot like the Arkham games too, right? So it had that vibe, and even the way Batman fought in this movie was very Arkham, style. It was just a big brawling, as opposed to kind of that really kind of. Obviously, this is earlier in his career, so he hasn't really developed his skills yet. But the way he fought in this, I loved it. He had all these guys going at him at once, and he was just an old-fashioned brawler. Like I said, it felt like the games, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the comments? Anthony Blanco said, "So pretty much it's the high desert."
Well, the high desert, pretty
That's
much.
Funny.
We don't have tall buildings.
We need a Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
We got Batman out here. Hey, you guys, I did whenever Batman would come out, you would hear his footsteps coming. I thought that was really cool, as opposed to always just swooping down on somebody.
You can see Matt Reeves' influence from horror movies in that, how Batman would just stalk his prey. He didn't have to move fast. He's gonna get you. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in my review. I was talking about that, about how Batman just feels he's predator out for his prey. He's very much hiding in the shadows. And one scene, so we've all kind of talked about what we love about it, but one thing that it gave me goosebumps while I was sitting in theaters watching it was the whole Batmobile scene, right? So the scene where with the Penguin and everything, they're it's raining, and then you just hear it in the background, and you're okay, it's happening, it's coming. I actually sat up in my seat, I got excited, and then you see it lights up, and you see it doing its thing, and then that chase was really cool. I love that chase scene, and then obviously this isn't, it's in the trailers, but when the Penguin's car flips over and you see Batman just walking
upside down,
you're it actually puts you in that position, and you're genuinely in the villain's perspective, and this guy's coming to he's gonna start some what I mean, he's not letting you go. And it's kind of terrifying in a way, because you just see this bulking guy just slowly making his way towards you, and he's seen what he's capable of before. And I thought that was really, really well done.
That was a shot of the movie, man. Like for me, like the most beautiful shot in all of the movie was that, like the upside down walking, slow walk to Penguin. Like, god dang, like I want to paint it. I love like Batman's stillness too, because like he was just always like so like still and like wouldn't. I mean, he couldn't turn his head, but like it's like his eye movement, and then like it just made it that much more impactful. Like when he would just explode, you know what I mean? Like with like on a villain or just like with his rage and like. Also, can we talk Easter eggs? Was that Venom at the end or was that like just adrenaline? Steroids. Are we gonna go there and say that was Venom? It was green.
It was green.
Right? Yeah, it was green.
Yeah,
it was Crystal Twist.
I think it was.
If you guys remember that,
it was Surge from the '90s drink Surge. Just
right.
It's that C4 Skittles that Nolan shared earlier today.
So we'll come back to kind of things that we liked a little bit more, but I kind of want to just touch on a couple things that I didn't really care for much in the movie. So number one, I feel like, so listen, I'm not against like long movies at all, but I do feel like this one felt like it was 3 hours, right? So like it was one of those movies where like, Endgame is a perfect example. Like that movie just like flew by, right? And things just happened so fast and it just flew by. This one, there was a point where like maybe an hour and a half, almost 2 hours in, I was like, all right, like this is almost over. You kind of see everyone kind of getting ready in their seats. And then it keeps going and you're like, wait, how much longer is left? So I look at my watch, it was like an hour and 15 minutes left. And I was like, man, like, but like the stuff that they had to do, it made sense, right? So it didn't feel like it was unnecessary. It just did. It felt like a 3-hour movie. I don't know if anyone else felt that.
No, I felt that too because it kind of crescendos with the whole Falcone thing, and then you're like, okay, and then you're like, oh, we're still, okay, cool. I'll sit down.
And that was it exactly. We're like, I was like, oh, this like we still have like a lot left, but it's cool. Like there's all the stuff we need to cover, so it's cool.
So watching it, I think for me, I felt that same way the first time I watched it. Right, like I'm like, oh wow, this does feel like 3 hours. The second time, I think knowing what was coming, it didn't feel as long. I don't know if that makes sense. That's weird, but yeah.
No, I've actually heard that too. Like upon multiple viewings, it actually flows a lot better because you know what to expect.
Because okay, so I brought it up in I'm a teacher and I brought it up in class and I'm like, oh, can we talk about the Batman? And so one of my students was like, I fell asleep, and I was like.
You shitting me?
I would just write this down and make sure that I fail you. She was like, it was so boring. And I was like, who are you? I'm like, dude, you're an animation student. And I'm like, dude, that was, I felt like the story was like really relentless. It was just like, I was on the edge of my seat. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much like a whodunit. It's the Riddler.
Obviously. Now a medical student.
It's a why done it or like why do you do it? Yeah. Right. So I don't know.
And it's probably a lot of like it's not of who done it. It's what else is he going to do?
Right.
What's next?
I think that's what a lot of the movie kind of felt like that, where it was, there was more to it than just what he was letting on, and even the part where I like how you brought that up when he's getting captured by the police and he's looking into Batman's eyes, and we see he's like, all right, you're here. He goes, now we can really get this started. It almost felt like a pre-Joker moment where he knew, he's like, okay, now that I have you right where I want you, now we can execute the final plan. And then that's where we get to the prison part where he goes, oh, you're not as smart as I thought you were. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, what have you done? And that's the part where it was kind of like, oh, shoot, what is coming next? We don't know what it is, but if he expected Batman to already know what it was, but he didn't, that was the part that was scary to me, because it was like, oh shoot, he hasn't figured it out yet. What don't we know? And I think that's kind of something that I did like, but at the same time, like you said, I think the movie did stretch out a little bit longer, but I think at the same time,
it had to.
Right.
I think so. The exposition was necessary for this story, and then for the next one, we'll kind of know what we're in for a little bit better.
Right. I completely agree. Yeah.
So, just a comment, Anthony's asking, who has the coolest Batman figures out of the group? Me. The answer is me. I do.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, that's pretty cool too. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I've got my little Batmobile here too. We've all got.
Show what you got, Christian.
I mean, I got it's behind the. I have like a whole shelf of like Dark Knight stuff over there.
So do I.
Have Dark Knight Returns stuff, and then I have like on top of my shelf is random stuff, mostly Batman stuff though, because I have all of those Mafex, Dark Knight. I've got them all so far.
Did you get the armored one yet?
Hell yeah, I did.
I gotta go to Frankenstein's.
Nice.
I need that thing.
I got it from Major's Geeks. So yeah,
nice.
they should have more.
Sweet.
But yeah,
did anybody? Oh, sorry. Did anybody grab the Mezco Batman?
I pre-ordered it. Yeah, I pre-ordered it, dude.
The new one. Yes.
Yeah, the Batman. Yeah. I pre-ordered the deluxe edition hot toy before I saw the movie. Day one pre-order, I did it because fuck it. I mean, I love the suit. I'm happy to do it. And that was like, it was like my first day pre-order. I did it, and my girlfriend was like, "What if you don't like the movie?" And I'm like, "How dare you? Why would you put that in my head?"
That's cool.
We need a hot toy Riddler.
Yeah, I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be really cool.
That's gonna be a creepy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of talked about Pattinson a little bit earlier. Let's talk about the cast a little bit more because there's some things, this kind of goes back to one of the things that kind of a little bit bothered me. But like, okay, so Robert Pattinson, I felt like was a great Batman, right? He's Batman like 80% of the movie, 85% of the movie, which I thought was freaking awesome, right? Very rarely we see that. Mm-hmm. Very rarely we see a Batman movie about Batman. Which,
yes.
I'm so glad we finally got that. One thing that kind of bothered me about that was we didn't really get a chance. So when I saw Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, it almost like I didn't get a chance to get used to him as Bruce Wayne to figure out if I liked him or not as Bruce Wayne, if that makes sense, right? So we only get like half an hour, if that, of him in Bruce Wayne, right? So I'm like still trying to figure out. I'm like, he was a good Batman, but dude, when we did see him as Bruce, he was super emo. Like
quiet,
super like Hot Topic, My Chemical Romance. Like there was a scene where I get it, but the scene where he turns around and he yells at Alfred, he's like, "You're not my dad."
That was good.
I was like,
that was dumb.
So we're doing this. And I thought it was fine. I thought it was good, especially for this kind of age of Batman. He's kind of an immature, lost soul, or he's still coming into himself. What do you guys think of that? Were you guys into this version of Bruce Wayne when you did see him? Did you guys buy fully into Pattinson as Bruce Wayne when he was Bruce Wayne as opposed to Batman?
It worked for me, but like you said, I'd like to see more of him as Bruce Wayne because, like, I mean, I feel like we got the silent moments and stuff, and then the whole "you're not my dad" thing was like, oh boy. Like, I would have loved to see him like actually at the board member meeting or whatever that he didn't go to.
Right.
Stuff. Yeah, we didn't get enough Bruce Wayne. We got more Batman, which I can't complain about that because that's what you want,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's also one of those things with like the same issue I had with the length.
If I may.
Long, but it was good.
Oh
yeah, go for it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. No, go for it.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say.
I think like in the defense of that. Yeah, I think in the defense of Matt Reeves' vision for Bruce Wayne and Batman, I personally didn't think it was too much of a drawback for myself personally, only because this version of Bruce Wayne, he doesn't know who's yet. He's still trying to balance out the difference between the billionaire playboy and being Batman, because as we see, it's only his second year in the cowl, and we haven't seen, well, we don't know where he is mentally trying to balance out the facade of the mask that is Bruce Wayne, and where Bruce Wayne is really Batman 99% of the time. And I think Matt Reeves' vision for bringing that kind of duality, where he's still dark, brooding, Mr. Emo, he hasn't separated the personas yet. So he's still balancing it out. And I think in the next movie, we might be able to see a little bit more of like, okay, so now he knows how to play the billionaire playboy part rather than just playing the dark and brooding 24/7. So sorry.
No, absolutely no. And I totally, actually, that was one of my next points too, was like, you know, I kind of like that about it, right? So when he was Batman, like there was no differentiating between the Bruce Wayne character and the Batman character in this one, right? Like it wasn't like Nolan's trilogy where it feels like almost instantly like Bruce knew how to differentiate the two. Like it was like
a switch.
Like a switch. And I thought that was really cool. And again, like any issue that I had with this movie was very much like, it felt like this, but it was necessary. You know what I mean? So like the length, but like, you know, Robert Pattinson as Batman was, I was, it kind of caught me off guard at first, but it was necessary for the story. So yeah, I completely agree with you though. I like that there was that, you know, he's still learning how to flip that switch. And I thought
I think part of that too is the fact that the character, whether it's comics, movies, whatever, he's Batman. Bruce Wayne is the actual mask. Yeah, and so he hasn't learned how to put on the mask, because you could tell Christian Bale, Batman, all that stuff, all the partying, all the thing, it was all fake. It was all him just pretending to play this character,
right?
But the real person underneath is Batman.
Yeah,
like Bruce Wayne is just
absolutely
facade.
I think we're looking at a Batman who only just wants to be Batman. You know what I mean? It's like I think Tom Holland talked about that in Homecoming. He was like, he just wants to be Spider-Man. He doesn't want to like he doesn't want to have to be Peter Parker when he can like do all the shit that he can do. You know what I mean? So and I think with this Batman, like kind of jumping off what you said, Kevin, how like you're not sure if you like him yet as Bruce Wayne. I don't think he likes himself as Bruce Wayne yet.
That's true. That's very true.
He said he was like, I don't care if I get hurt. I don't care if I die. You know what I mean? He just has to like a mission.
That's true.
So yeah.
Like speaking of like Alfred, like Andy Serkis. I mean, again, he's another character we didn't really see a whole lot. You know, not as much as we've seen him before. And I love that he's not just his butler this time or caretaker. I thought that was like they had a butler and caretaker in their house, which I thought was in their flat, or whatever the I can't think of words right now. I apologize. Right. You know what I mean? Like they had their
tea and crumpets.
What's that?
Tea and crumpets.
Yeah, tea and crumpets. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that relationship was really cool. And then we get the revelation again. It's full of spoilers, but that that Alfred was the one who trained him.
Yeah.
You know, which I thought was really cool.
Okay. Let's talk about the big reveals. To me, there was like two major reveals. One I didn't know from the comics, Catwoman's father.
Falcone.
Yes.
Like that was like, whoa.
Yeah. That was a shocker to me too.
And then the whole
that
Falcone,
blew me out of the water.
Yeah, and then the whole tie-in of Falcone to like Thomas, right? And like the whole like and like the Arkhams and his mom, like that was huge. I was like,
Arkham stuff was crazy.
That's really cool that they're doing this. Like and then I think it kind of prompts Bruce. Like there's like 3 times he breaks into the Iceberg Lounge, right, or goes into the Iceberg Lounge. The first time as Batman, he's like, "Do you know who I am?" And the second time as like Bruce is like, "Do you know who I am?" And then the third time he just sneaks in, you know. But it's again, it's just that like beautiful symmetrical writing that they've done with this movie, which is really cool. But yeah, loved it. Like really, really cool.
I kind of feel like that was his Star-Lord moment. It's like, oh, so you've heard of me, right? Like, who? He's like, Star-Lord, man. I'm Batman. I'm vengeance.
When you're talking about that reveal too, about his father, I was kind of hoping it would keep going down and like he actually did pay him to take out the reporter, because like to me that makes him question everything.
Yeah.
So I was hoping they would kind of keep going that route instead of they kind of just turn around. It's like, oh no, he wasn't really trying to kill him.
I mean, I do think it's like kind of the perfect segue like into at some point in the sequels, Court of Owls, right? Like I think that was.
I hope so. I hope they make that happen.
Pattinson said it in an interview. There, I guess they asked him like, "What comic book stories would you love to see?" And he like right away was like Court of Owls. So I'm like, if he's gonna push for it, I'd love to see that too.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Yeah,
it'd be beautiful to see that.
Yeah. So what do we think of Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman? I thought she nailed it.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. She was good.
I think Noble maybe has
a little apprehension in his face.
No, go for it, man. Go for it.
I think she was decent. I think there was a couple of dry spots, I think, for her character, but going back to one of the reviews or one of the articles that I saw, she's not Catwoman yet. She's just Selena Kyle.
Right.
Burglar. She's just watching out for herself. So in that regard, I feel like it's what you said earlier. I think that was one of the only drawbacks I had from the film, was that she didn't feel like Catwoman because she wasn't Catwoman.
She had a beanie on her head.
Yeah.
A little knit cap, kitty cat.
Yeah. Yeah, and to me, it was just kind of like, she's okay. She's not the worst. I think she's way better than Anne Hathaway ever was. But I don't think anyone will ever beat Michelle Pfeiffer for me.
Oh no, Michelle Pfeiffer's got that like very class. I mean, she is Catwoman. Like when I think of Catwoman, I think of Michelle Pfeiffer. Like that's just the way it goes.
Man, I'd love to see Zoe Kravitz in that costume. You know?
Right.
Awesome.
I think I kind of feel the same way. Like I thought she did really good. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like she wasn't quite Catwoman yet, and I thought, but I did like how they actually gave her character a little bit more depth this time around than they normally have in the movies. Even we talk about Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, but she was still just like a one-shot, villain. You know what I mean? Like she didn't have this deepness to her, and I know it's like Catwoman's always kind of been either friend or foe, back and forth. It kind of depends what story you're reading, things like that. But I liked this version of her. I think it's going to develop into a really cool, relationship over multiple movies, which I think is a really, really cool idea.
Yeah. At first, I felt like her character was just kind of tacked on. Like it didn't drive the story, but like it makes more sense now that if you expand it out, that they have that kind of relationship. But also with Alfred getting blown up, who else is he going to talk to?
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
And I like. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying I like that immediate, like they kind of already developed that interest on both ends, like especially with like Bruce like rewatching that footage over and over again, and like you can see his infatuation with her.
Yeah.
And then like the closing shot of them like riding their motorcycles in tandem, and then eventually like like having like very symbolic of their relationship. Like the can't.
Fast and Furious.
That's what I was thinking too. I was expecting that song to come on at the
end. Yeah, I think that's great too. I love how these movies are starting to feel more like comic books. You know what I mean? Like they have their own like over reaching arches that are going to seem to be going over multiple movies. And I love that this was a standalone too. I love that they weren't trying to force it into anything else. Like it wasn't trying to be like this other thing. Let's talk about we talked about Colin Farrell a little bit. I think we all kind of said our part about how great he was. I thought he was awesome.
Incredible.
Yeah. Jeffrey Wright, obviously, as Gordon, we covered. Falcone, I thought, I had seen he was going to be in it. I had heard he was going to be in it, but we hadn't seen any footage of him in it. Obviously, it was John Turturro. We all knew it was going to be John Turturro. But I mean, it's John Turturro. I mean, he's great. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he was the perfect Falcone. I thought he pulled that role off really, really well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I still, when I looked at him, I still see Agent Simmons. So like, I just have a hard time seeing Agent Simmons as Carmine Falcone.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think the cast was great. Can we just talk about the score a little bit?
I love that.
Batman's theme song.
So good.
And it really came into play, like obviously, like towards the end, right when you have all the Riddler villains, and you just hear it starting. You just hear it banging in the background, and Batman's doing his thing. Oh, like this! It was incredible. Like I don't know if you heard the story about Michael Giacchino's like story with how he came up with the theme song. Like Matt Reeves reached out to him. He's like, I'm doing the Batman. Do you want to do the score? Literally like hours later, he sends him back this piece of music. And Matt Reeves is like, wow, that was fast. And he's like, yeah, I've been writing this theme song since I was like 7 years old.
Wow.
He's like,
that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. He's like, I've been like, this has been my dream. But yeah, I thought
that's incredible.
That's God, it's so effective.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the score for like, because everybody has their theme songs. I love like Catwoman's little playful like music too. Riddler's music was really cool, but Batman's goddamn, like that just like
Mm-hmm.
I feel it in my ribs, like it's really good.
Mhm.
Also, the soundtrack, like I didn't know they were going to use that
Oh.
Nirvana song in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yes,
Something in the
So
way.
glad
Yeah.
they, so
I
glad they
love
did.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it
good.
works
Yeah,
so perfectly.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was beautiful. And so let's kind of get to the end here, where obviously the end of this movie kind of leaves off on a very, Gotham City is completely submerged
Mhm.
in water. What do you guys think? Like, so let's talk about sequels a little bit. Where do you think the story can head? Do you guys have any? Obviously, we talked about Court of Owls a little bit later on, but where do you think the story could go? What are some possible, what did you guys think about that ending, and where do you think it can go from here? I
I'll
know
go.
it's tough,
Guess.
right? It's really
I
hard.
think part of me when I see a movie so
Yeah.
good, like I felt the same way about Into the Spider-Verse. Like I'm like, this was so good, I don't want a sequel. Like I
Right.
don't, I just leave it alone. You know what I mean? I kind of feel the same way about this. I saw Matt Reeves talked about, like, obviously there's that Easter egg at the very end of like a surprise character, Joker.
Mhm.
It's Druig
Yeah, I
from
want to talk about
Eternals.
that too in a minute. We'll
Yeah,
talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
but he said himself, he's like, that doesn't mean that we're gonna get him in the next movie. He was like,
Right.
it was the point of it was to show,
Thank goodness.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Gotham is opening up. So I'm like, because I'm cool. Like, just leave Joker alone for a little while. Like,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because I'm done with Joker
Yeah.
for a long time. And when I
Yeah.
saw that and heard that, when you see him in the set, I was just like, are we doing this right now?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, so I
soon?
know, I know this might give me some guff, but I was not a fan of the Joker, the movie The Joker, the
Mm.
Joaquin Phoenix
No?
Joker movie. I thought it was fine, but I didn't have any sort of connection to it. I just didn't. Joaquin was great, but the movie itself just felt so it's kind of odd, because it felt super derivative of like so many other movies that came before. And again, I know we're talking about this movie like it's like a knockoff, not a knockoff, but a derivative of like Seven, for example, right?
Right.
Mm.
But I felt like Joker, it just didn't connect with me on any level.
Kevin, I'm right there with you. But keep going.
Okay, good. No, good. But I think Joaquin was fine. Like, I thought Joaquin was a great Joker. But then I saw this and I was like, do we really need to go there again, especially after the Joker and Heath Ledger and all these other versions? I'm done with Joker. There's so many other villains you can do. It was a cool tease, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think something that really opened up the doors for the end of the movie, not just the Joker, and I'm here that the Joker is not going to be done right away. I think because he's so well versed, well known villain, you could actually have him pulling all the strings from behind.
That would be cool.
Us still never see him, kind of like how they did with Thanos. And if they do make this trilogy, or if it becomes further, more sequels come after the third movie, they still can use him as a small Easter egg and have him, do everything from behind the scenes. I think that would be a way better way to use the character, because everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows what to expect from him. But if he's playing, what's the right word? If he's playing the mastermind behind the scenes and he's actually leading everything, and he's pointing all of these villains who we might possibly see in the sequels, if he's laying the foundation for it, and then finally he's like, okay, now it's time for me to make my debut, I think that will not just be the biggest buildup, but it'll be so much more worth it to see him in the final payoff.
Yeah. I can see that happening, and I kind of hope that's how they do it.
And I was thinking too, if I'm writing the next movie, they dam up the river, get everything, the water cleaned up and everything, and it's a big renewal. And then a character we got some hints about, Hush, comes along and he wants to undo everything. Thomas Elliot. And I think that cool. And again, if he's under the control of the Joker, all the better. But that's just kind of where I would want to see it going, is renewal, and then we're gonna just blow it up again.
Absolutely, I think that would be great. I mean, we are going to find out kind of what happens. I mean, there is a kind of transition to the Penguin series that's coming to HBO Max. Obviously, we don't know much about it. I don't know if it's going to be a prequel, sequel. Have they like officially announced what it's going to be?
So
like
they
prequel,
every time I hear them talk about it, they say it's Penguin's rise to power, which makes it sound like it's taking place after the movie.
Okay, cool. No,
so
and that would be cool to kind of find out. I hope they kind of cover kind of what happened. So like by the time we get to the next movie, I hope Penguin's still involved and he's become the Penguin. The one that, because I love in this movie how he's he's Oswald. He's Oz. He hates it when people calls him the Penguin, right? So I'm kind of waiting for him to kind of take the mantle on and become the Penguin, which I think would be really cool. And they're also doing the Arkham Asylum show, because they were doing the Arkham PD.
Yeah.
I thought they were doing the GCPD.
So they were, but I guess they were having some really issues, like some really big issues, kind of knocking out the story, like cracking it. So they decided to turn it into an Arkham series.
Cool.
Which I think
that
really
would fit better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I feel like we've seen Gotham, with like, Gotham, I mean, obviously a different type of Gotham from what we have here, but I think an Arkham series would be absolutely perfect.
With these shows being on HBO Max, if they're going to be anything like Peacemaker, go crazy. Like, because goddamn it, I love it.
You watch Peacemaker?
Like all of it. Like I binged it in like a day and a half. Yeah, so good.
Dude,
so
I love
good.
I'm a little late to the game on that one.
Oh man, last time we talked about this, you were recommending it. I watched it. Nolan was like, I saw 5 minutes. I'm okay. Nolan, if you're watching, fucking watch it. My God, it's so good. Like, dude, I put it up there with like Daredevil. Like,
easily.
It's like one of the greatest like superhero TV shows.
Dude, we're gonna do a whole podcast on Peacemaker. We're gonna have to. We have to do a whole Peacemaker podcast. I love that show so much.
So satisfying. It was like, oh man,
so good.
Really, yeah.
But speaking of like DC TV shows and everything, just real quick, just before we wrap up, it might be a little bit further before we see any new Batman movie, because everything seems to be getting pushed back and moved around by DC and Warner Brothers. And it's not just DC properties, it's Warner Brothers in general, just kind of moved their whole slate. So those that did see the Batman trailer, I think you can watch it on YouTube though. They released like this trailer, this teaser of all their movies coming out in 2022. They were so excited about it. They're like, hey, this is what we got coming for you guys. And now we're only getting so Shazam was brought into 2022. I think the Super Pets movie was pushed back about a couple months, and then
who asked for that?
What's that?
Who asked for the Super Pets?
Hey,
who asked for it?
Keanu is playing Batman.
That's cool.
Okay, I'll see it. That's all.
And then Black Adam got pushed back a couple months.
6 months, I heard. 3 months. 3 months, 6 months.
3 months. It was 3 months. But then The Flash and Aquaman, I would argue probably two of the most anticipated ones of this year, got pushed back to 2023. But that's also like I said, it's not just DC, Warner Brothers in general. They also, the Meg 2 is coming out. In case you guys didn't know, Meg 2 was happening with Jason Statham coming back. Yes. I love the first Meg. I thought it was a lot of fun. But that got pushed back, and so did the new Charlie and the Chocolate or the Wonka movie starring Timothée Chalamet as Wonka. The prequel. So those got pushed back as well.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's things are happening, man. Things are happening. I think Batgirl? I think that's still releasing later this year, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I can't, but it's only that one's only going to HBO Max.
Right.
So Batgirl's going to HBO Max. I know Blue Beetle's in the works. I don't know where that's at. The kid from Cobra Kai, Miguel from Cobra Kai, is playing the lead character in that.
That's pretty cool. That's a good cast.
I think that's an amazing casting. And I think it was supposed to be an HBO Max exclusive, but they decided to put it at theaters.
So they're going with that Blue Beetle.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm kind of taking it with a grain of salt, but you know what? If these are being pushed back because of reshoots, because of rewrites, I hope that that's an eye opener for the studio, because they're pushing everything back, and that happened to be just after the success of how the Batman was. So I think that if this is a push to, okay, so this is what people are loving, this is what people are investing in, and they really seem to be, tagging toward, the story of the Batman. They really like it. It's getting a lot of positive reception. I hope this opens up their eyes and basically tells them, so now we know what the fans, what these people and theater goers are going to want to see. Maybe this is a bit of a change up, and hopefully opens up their eyes and like, okay, now we know they're learning from their mistakes that they've made. And I'll be honest with you guys, if we don't see a Matt Reeves Batman sequel for another 2-3 years, because he's taking the time to craft a story, he's trying to craft everything like how he did with this movie. And I know this movie got pushed back a little while too. COVID. If that's what it takes for this next sequel to be just as good as the first one, I'm all on board. Take all the time you need to make a great story, make a great movie, and people are gonna flood to go see it and want to see another one.
Absolutely.
I think the studio just needs to learn from their mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and hopefully they do. Hopefully they do, and I think we're all loving our comic book stuff right now. So I mean, we got Doctor Strange coming out next.
Yeah.
Oh man.
After. That's a whole other podcast. So we'll
Morbius comes out too, yeah.
Morbius is coming
What's
out.
What's that?
April. Just go watch a movie at the theaters and you'll see the trailer. It doesn't matter what movie you see. You'll always hear.
Oh man, I really hope that's good.
No, I hope so too, because I'm not, like, that's probably my least. I mean, that's cool. Let's do it. I'll watch it. I mean,
same.
Yeah. And I want to be surprised. I'm like, hey, you know what? I shouldn't have. It was good. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, so definitely. So I think we're still gonna. Are we planning on doing the giveaway right now, or
sure? Yeah, I think so.
You have the wheel, right?
Oh, you want me to get the wheel out?
Oh yeah, Nolan. Nolan had mentioned that you were gonna. You had.
Oh, let me.
It's cool though. It's cool. It's cool. We'll get it.
I think I have it saved. I just got to remove a few names there.
Nice. But yeah, so there's still some, overall, let's do a score real quick. So let's do out of 5. Out of 5, what would you score the Batman? Just to kind of wrap things up, what would be your score from one pastrami to 5 pastramis? What is your score for the Batman? Tough one.
I mean, I don't want.
So in my review, I gave it a 4.5. I feel like it's I don't think it's the perfect Batman movie, but again, I'm I'm partial to The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is still just one of the greats. I thought it was different enough, and just it blew me away by how different it was, and how much Batman we actually got in a Batman movie, which I thought was really cool. It felt like a Batman movie, Whereas like something like The Dark Knight was a Batman movie, but it was a Joker movie. Let's be honest.
Right.
But yeah, so I gave it a 4.5. So don't be shy. Whatever you guys give it, it'll be cool.
Man, I said I was going to avoid hyperbole, but like I'm so tempted to go like 4.8, 4.7, 4.75.
Right.
That's what I'll say.
Gotcha.
For all the reasons you said, like this is I feel like the first Batman movie, where like we get to focus on Batman, and I think they knew it. You know what I mean? Like that. This is why he was in the Cal for 80% of the time. Because it was his character study this time around. So, yeah. Also, I think this is visually the most beautiful Batman movie we've gotten.
Oh
so,
yeah, easily.
Yeah. Very artistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What about you guys?
Daniel, Jason?
Me? I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 5 out of 5.
Hey,
I was entertained like thoroughly through this whole thing, and I mean, what was the last Batman movie we had to watch? That horrible Dark Knight Rises. You have my permission to die. And he's all fighting gangs in New York style with Bane and still couldn't beat him. And then like Catwoman comes away and blows him away with his fucking bat cycle. Like,
yeah,
I mean, shit. And this was right up there. Like, it's like Christian said, it's with that Dark Knight Heath Ledger Joker one, but I don't know if it. I need to see it some more. I don't know if it surpasses it yet, but it's still a good hard 5 out of 5 for me.
Cool. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Daniel Noble? What you guys got?
I was thinking, yeah, I actually agree with Jason. Perfect movie doesn't come along very often, so it's hard to like, give everything, rate it as a 5 or something. But it's like, this is, I think, as close as we're gonna get. I mean, it's honestly, I still worry about a sequel just because, sequels.
Right.
So, it's like, I think this is like the best we're gonna get. And like I said, in my mind, I do put this up there with Dark Knight. Again, we'll have to, do the comparisons over time. But yeah, I give it a 5. It's
cool.
It's amazing.
Okay. I think for me, I'm just curious to know what they're going to do for this sequel, and I think that's kind of where my score kind of lies at the moment. I still need to see it at least 2 or 3, 4 more times, just so I can get a definitive idea of what I really think about it. But on the first reaction, I would say a 4.8 with cheese on top.
Hey,
for the pastrami sandwiches.
No, absolutely. I completely, I get that totally. Like I'm gonna watch it a few more times, and who knows, you know how these things go, right? Like you can watch it once and it's the greatest movie ever, but you watch it again and it either gets better or it kind of, you're like, maybe let's take a step back here and kind of see what's up. So who knows, upon more viewings, we'll see how it goes. Jason, you got the wheel ready?
I sure do. I got all 4 of them on there.
Awesome. Cool. So this is for the Chickenator at the Apollo Burger. We're gonna go ahead and spin it.
And that was when Contos won last time. So
was it?
Here's I'm gonna spin this thing now. Here it goes.
Go for it.
Hey,
Arturo, you won. Congrats, you won a Chickenator from Apollo Burger.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, just go ahead and leave your info. I don't know how. No, just go ahead and message Pastrami Nation, and they'll get all the details and get that to you.
Amazing lunch out to you.
What's that?
We'll get that amazing lunch out to you.
Oh man, I still need to go. One of these days, I'm gonna be down there. I'm gonna try it out.
You got it. When you do, we got you, man. We got you.
Dude. Nice. I love it. All right, well guys, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for coming and talking about the Batman. And were there any closing thoughts or anything? Are you guys good? You guys have anything else to say, or you guys feel like you guys vented enough about the Batman?
So I know we talked about it, and we talked about a little bit of like to see for the sequel and stuff like that. Whoever's watching should leave a comment down below who they would like to see in the sequel.
Yes, let's talk. Yeah, definitely. Please leave comments and who we'd love to see in the sequel, which characters you love to show up, anything like that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to hear what other people think too. It's so much fun to speculate, right? Like, obviously, you don't want to get your hopes up by speculating too much, but it's fun. So
I want to see the Clock King in the sequel.
See the Condiment King.
Gotta say, I'm still waiting for the live-action Condiment King.
Condiment King.
I would like to see the Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad go up against this Batman.
He got smashed.
Thank you guys for coming. If you guys haven't watched the Batman yet, go watch the Batman because it's amazing. Watch the Batman. Watch Peacemaker. Nolan.
Yes.
Watch Peacemaker.
Yes.
Watch Peacemaker. We're gonna do a podcast about Peacemaker. Not
Please.
We'll make it happen.
Yes.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you for watching Pastrami Nation podcast. Check us out on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram,
MySpace,
Pinterest, MySpace,
Friendster. Let's go farther back.
If you're in our top 30,
chat,
Friendster, find us anywhere. You can also download the podcast on we got Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all that fun stuff. So wherever you find your podcasts, download it and check it out. So thank you guys for checking us out, and have a good night.
Thank you guys.
Good night.